Hi, my name's Sargeant. I'm the artist and animator on Aethyr. It's an open world 2D action adventure game inspired by the golden age of RPGs and got a wide variety of skills, kind of somewhat like Elder Scrolls. And the other game I'm working on is right now Untitled Soulslike, and it's kind of a sort of mix between Zelda, Dark Souls, Shadow of the Colossus. A pretty big passion project of mine, and it's similar to Aether as well. They both have unlike Zelda, it's a bit more expansive. Like you can get different gear and stuff, and the combat's quite advanced. So that's something I really value too. So it's pretty expansive and a lot of work, but something I'm extremely proud of. Yeah, I wasn't there at the very beginning, and I think his original inspiration was probably a mix of Zelda and Morrowind, so the Elder Scrolls games, and he definitely wanted a more advanced system, where the crafting and the lots of skills that you can combine. Kind of, it's definitely not as dungeon or how you get tools in Zelda. It's not as much on that vein. It's more of a combat and an openness to it. So I would say it leans more towards Morrowind for him. He's been working on it for not too long before me. I joined him in 2015, and since then it hasn't always been full time until the end of 2018. So 2019, 20, and this year we've been doing it full time, and that kind of helped ramp it up to where it's close to finish now. So we're in this community of other devs, and I was kind of just working with random people, and we would help out, and I'd help him out sometimes with some stuff. So if he was like, oh, how should I animate this, I would help him do those animations. Between projects, lots of the programmers I was working with were really amateurs, so they would drop them all the time. And he's like, oh, since this one had to go do some stuff, you should join me on this project, because I've been really at first it was kind of jokingly oh, why aren't you joining my project all the time? So I was like, yeah, I might as well, because I'm between them, and this looks amazing, what I want to do. So that's how I ended up joining them. Well, I'm done most of the stuff on my end, and he's pretty much on the finale of it, kind of just wrapping up polishing stuff. And before, even when we had the Kickstarter, all the systems and stuff were in, so it's mostly just the finishing content that he's doing. Yeah, right now it's just Steam. We do have lots of interest in the Switch and PlayStation, and I mean probably Xbox if you can, but right now we're just developing it for PC. So we'll be looking into that after release, but not for the main release. I still help out with Aethyr on weekends, and I've been doing that kind of since the start of this year, since March when I started this kind of. I still do Aethyr on weekends, where I help out with kind of maybe stuff more on Labyrinth side. There's some stuff it's kind of hard to do, because if I make more assets, it's more work for him to put in, and we kind of have a rough cutoff there, but there is some stuff that I'll still do, armor sets. Instead of using a recolor, I might do a new, totally new appearance. So while he finishes up, I'm kind of doing stuff like that, little tiny things. And I suspect I'll kind of be helping him out on weekends until release too, yeah. In the game, it takes place in a world where there's been a spore plague that's been pretty much killing everything, and there's this last kingdom that is unaffected by it so far, and you crash land into this kingdom inside of a giant golem. And in this kingdom there's trees with resin, which is a magical property within the trees that will they kind of use it for technology, so to power the golems, and they also have used it to create life. You're in this new kingdom, and the spore plagues pretty much starting to come to that kingdom. And I don't know how much, I think that's kind of like the base synopsis. I don't know how much I want to give away like that happens in it, but that's kind of the premise for where you start the journey in the game. Yeah, I started in March, so just over it now, since it's like the 7th of June. But when I posted that like June 1st-ish, it was like 3 months. Yeah, there's gonna be sections where it's more open, where you'd want to use the horse, but then it'll go into other parts like castles and more like dungeon areas that are a lot more closed off, and they'll still have branching paths, but definitely linear compared to the open spaces. And it won't be like Breath of the Wild where you can just climb over like every mountain. It'll be where you still have to maneuver through everything, and you won't have like a free climbing ability where you can just climb over everything. Actually, it's kind of weird to say because it hasn't shown its gameplay yet, but Elden Ring, which is hopefully it's being shown this E3. Everyone's praying for it. Yeah, Elden Ring, kind of what I imagine it to be, is actually kind of a inspiration. So like I would be like, which is kind of why there's like the horse elements too, and Dark Souls is somewhat linear, where like, especially compared to Breath of the Wild where you can climb over everything, Dark Souls is really handcrafted pathways and everything's like really meticulously placed. So Elden Ring, what I kind of imagine it to be is a bit more open spots where it kind of goes into more Dark Souls like areas, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And so I wouldn't say it's kind of like a mix, definitely like a big mix between like Breath of the Wild and Dark Souls, where it's not fully open, but it's definitely more open than Dark Souls would be. It's hard to say which one would be more so. I think pretty much both evenly. Yeah, I do actually have a title. I just been waiting till I don't want it to like compete with Aethyr, since that's going to be coming out. So once Aethyr releases, I'm gonna have like a more in-depth trailer with more of the story and the title. So I do have a title. I just haven't been showing it since I don't want people to get it confused with Aethyr, which I'm showing a lot. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate I can't be saying it yet, but I do. Yeah, the title is pretty nice, and it does have a lot to do with the kind of that synopsis there.